Iran is still the top threat to stability in the Middle East. That's the word from President Trump's defense secretary. Pentagon producer Lucas Tomlinson tells us what else Jim Mattis is saying.
Despite the ongoing battle against ISIS and al-Qaeda, Defense Secretary Jim Mattis warned not to ignore Iran.
At the time when I spoke about Iran, I was the commander of U.S. Central Command, and that was the primary exporter of terrorism, frankly. It was the primary state sponsor of terrorism, and it continues that kind of behavior today.
Last week, the USS George H.W. Bush arrived in the Persian Gulf to begin airstrikes against ISIS and to keep an eye on Iran. On Capitol Hill, the head of U.S. Central Command said Iran represents the greatest threat to the region, operating in a gray zone just short of open conflict.
I think we need to look at opportunities where we can disrupt through military means or other means their activities.
General Votel said Iran's behavior has gotten worse since the nuclear deal was reached during the Obama administration. Earlier this month, Iran test-fired more ballistic missiles, and General Votel says Iran and Russia continue to work closely together in Syria to keep President Bashar al-Assad in power.
We've seen Russian jets operating out of Iranian bases, and certainly their cooperation to prop up the regime and give them new life here, I think we should be concerned about that.
This week, Iran's president visited Moscow in a sign of warming ties between nations.
Russia and Iran coordinate on every step in the liquidation of ISIS and al-Nusra to stabilize the situation in Syria.
The Russians are taking a page out of Iran's playbook, supporting the Taliban. Votel says they're trying to undermine the United States in Afghanistan.
I think it's fair to assume they may be providing some kind of support to them in terms of weapons or other things that may be there. Again, I think that is the possibility.
We have seen Russian activity vis-a-vis the Taliban. I'm not willing to say at this point if that is manifested into weapons and that sort of thing, but certainly what they're up to there in light of their other activities gives us concern.
Iran is accused of killing hundreds of American troops in Iraq a decade ago. General Votel says today there's roughly 100,000 Iranian-backed fighters in Iraq, raising questions about what comes next after ISIS. Chris?
Lucas, thank you.